David, I'm going to go to you first. A little bit of a tricky week for the president in terms of messaging on the border. He kind of opened the week by saying he was going to shut down the entire thing, then he backtracked, and now he's saying he's not going to do that for the next year anyway. What he's going to do instead is auto tariffs on Mexican imports. It's a little muddled.
First, both of you must be elated that your avocado toast for breakfast will still stand. Certainly something that's been driving Representative Cortez, who does have a bit of the media narrative and the Democrats' focus these days. So enjoy breakfast tomorrow. More significant, though, is the fact that...
we will, David. I will enjoy my avocado toast tomorrow. Thank you.
More significant move by the president has been to start holding Latin American leaders accountable, whether that be through punishment or encouragement, that they start addressing some of these issues. Certainly, U.S. citizens have spent millions, billions of dollars to Latin American countries to help improve their conditions so that their people don't have to come to the U.S. That hasn't helped. So we need to look at different approaches, and that's what you see the president working on, including looking at taking some aid away from Latin American countries.
Well, Doug, I just spoke to Howard Schultz a couple of minutes ago. He told me that if he runs, he would advocate for increased aid to these countries. Mexico, I think I mentioned Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. Is that the answer?
Well, I don't think there is one answer. I don't think it's a question of less aid or more aid. It's to be smart and strategic. One of the countries that David didn't mention, where I think we need a more robust and aggressive presence, is Venezuela. Yeah, we put all options on the table, and meanwhile, there are at least 100 Russian special operations troops in there as advisors. More are coming. The government of Maduro is socialist and illegitimate. 50 nations around the world support President Guaido, and we need to make sure that in our own hemisphere, we make sure that democracy, freedom, and liberty are restored. They are drug traffickers. They are supporters of terrorism in Venezuela.
Beyond, I mean, what else is there left to do? What else is there left for the Trump administration to do at this point? I mean, they've got a senior official over there on the ground pretty much every day.
Jillian, tighter sanctions on the Russian leadership. We need a multinational force to be assembled to potentially open up the country for the humanitarian aid it needs. We cannot just sit and say, you know, everything's on the table. Look, I have worked in Venezuela. I've written about Venezuela. This is a great tragedy for us, and I wish my party, the Democrats, spoke out as I've tried to do now.
I want to get you both to weigh in on this. Take a listen to what Howard Schultz said a few minutes ago about President Trump and China.
These markets are not coming back as a result of a very foolish strategic mistake with China on the tariff and trade issue.
All right, David, do you think it's, maybe you're not going to go with a foolish mistake, but do you think it's fair criticism to go at President Trump over the situation with China right now?
The U.S. economy is as strong as it has ever been. We are in the exact position that we need to be in to be tough with China. And Doug mentioned something in the last segment that is not said enough about what is going on